Welcome to the All in Red channel, conquering the game of life. Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the All in Red Risk Strategies channel, where I teach you strategies you can use on the board and beyond. I continue my 1 vs 1 series, and today I get the pleasure of bouting a fellow Grandmaster, Arco, who is currently ranked number 350th in the league out of 481,000 contenders. And I'm ranked number 645, trying to climb my way back into the top 500. This is sure to be an entertaining match to watch. You're not going to want to miss this, and subscribe to my channel to watch future games. Now in the meantime, we'll see how Arco fares in the fire. Let the battle begin. Okay, I get to go first this time. And I always like going first because that gives me the card advantage. Now notice how I always try to form an alliance with my opponent in 1 vs 1 games. That's just to throw off my opponent. I have no intention on, of course, keeping my alliance. But he laughs. Arco laughs it off. I take that as more of a sarcastic laugh. So I think he's played enough 1 vs 1 games to know that I was just kind of kidding there. But look at Arco though. I mean, he has an edge over me around the globe, even though I go first in the lineup. He seems to have me outweighed in nearly every continent. The only thing I got really going on is those troops I have in Asia. So I plant in Australia. Arco's going to have me outweighed in most of the map, so I want to make sure I'm protected in Australia. So I strike easy down in South Africa, rest my dice, and now hope the bots will release some damage against Arco. Takes Arco out of Peru. That's pretty decent of white. So that's good, at least one less Arco territory on the map to contend with. So I see white bot kind of conjugated in Kamchatka. I'm hoping that that indicates that white bot will come into North America. So I'm going to see what I can do to get my fort out of Alaska for white to come through. Charcoal planted some weight in South America, so that hopefully deters Arco from being able to easily go into that continent. And now Arco starts his turn off with 4 troops for going in last place. Eastern United States is glowing, and I don't anticipate lasting long in North America. I would expect Arco to eventually try for that continent. Now it's hard to hold on to North America in a 1 vs 1 game, but he seems like he might have just enough weight in that continent to pull it off. It really just depends on if white bot comes through from Kamchatka. So I'm going to try my best to invite that. I'm going to strike with my 4 from Alaska. Notice how I plan even more weight in Australia. I strike a couple of Arco's territories, and now I'm going to try to take them out of Ukraine. Ooh, but a bad blow there. Now I don't want to strike with my 4 from Ural because I want to kind of keep yellow contained there in Siberia, hoping that white bot will eventually take him out of that territory. But man, bad blow from Afghanistan to Ukraine. The Ukrainians held up their defense there. Okay, white bot already having enough territory to start its turn off with 4 troops. And look at that, planting there in Yakutsk. And does take yellow out of Siberia, so great. Now, see, that's a great way to use the bot there, is try to contain your opponent where he may have weaker forces, and hope that the more weightier bots eventually take him out of that territory. So that worked out to my advantage. Yeah, look at Arco taking me completely out of North America. He's going to be unreachable in that continent here soon. Notice how Arco puts a lot of weight there in Greenland. He's not worried about white bot coming through the back door into Alaska. So he's just targeting me all the way there. So I'm gonna plant all my force in Australia, and why not just take over the entire continent, get a great blow in Indonesia. Awesome, because I'm already factoring in yellow being dominant. Notice how I get my force out of Ural, because I don't want white bot to do to me what it did to yellow. And so I want to conserve that stash of troops that I have there as much as possible. White bot seems hungry for Asia. Ooh, blows out there though from Middle East to Afghanistan, but comes through that heavy 9 into Ural. Not sure why it left 2 there in Siberia. Sometimes I just don't understand the bot logic. Okay, black bot's turn is next. Black bot is poised to take over South America, which will be good. The heavier black bot gets in the southeast corner, more than likely it'll eventually start to gel up in North America. Already having 4 in Quebec. So that'll hopefully deter Arco from taking over North America. Meanwhile, Arco just totally strikes me out of Great Britain and also Africa. So I'm getting very limited in the remaining part of the map. I'm almost pinned in the southeast corner of the map. I don't have a match yet. Arco is sitting on 14 territories, so I gotta think, okay, what can I do to reduce his number of territories? I don't want him starting his turn off with any additional troops. So I just head down to Africa. Took at least one of his territories out. I'm going to try to make it a little bit harder for him to take me out by striking further down into South Africa. I think I'm rather safeguarded in Australia for now. I mean, Arco does have 3 cards, could have a match, could blaze through and take me out of that continent. Let's see what white bot does though with that heavy 10 in Ural. Strikes down into Afghanistan and further down in the Middle East. But I was really hoping that it would have struck into Ukraine. That would have made it much harder for Arco to come through and tamper with me in Australia, but nope, couldn't get that lucky. And white bot did not strike into any yellow territories, so I'm leaving it up to black bot to do so. The black bot planting heavy in Scandinavia, good thing. A little bit worried there that Arco almost could have just taken over Europe, and I wouldn't have done much about it. Okay, Arco's turn is next. Let's see if he has a match, and he does. Full 10 trooped as well. Well, he's going to have a lot of power here. Not enough power to take me completely out, but he could take me out of Australia. Looks like Egypt is glowing, however. I think he's thinking at least take me out of the main part of the map and corner me in Australia. And wow, look at that, he does. Okay, now what does he do? He has a big hefty 12, the biggest weight on the map. If I were him, I'd probably put it all in Egypt and position myself to... Ooh, but he doesn't. He strikes after black bot, and he went from 12 down to 5 in Brazil. He's definitely not going to have enough power to take over South America. He went in a completely different direction than I expected. I guess he was anticipating that I was going to turn in a match, which I do have one. However, I think he still would have been much better off planting in Egypt rather than striking after the charcoal bot. Because even though I have 21, I mean, I had to burst through into Siam. I lose 3 on that play. And I think he would have been still protected enough in Egypt. I wouldn't have been able to just come right down into him, but Instead, I'm just going to come right through and meet him in North America. So you notice how he has that 6 there in eastern United States. I need to add weight to North America. Otherwise, I mean, he's liable to take over that continent and be totally unmolested by either bot. So I have 8 in Greenland. I protect myself a little bit with my 3 in Indonesia. Ooh, and white bot's coming down with some force. Ooh, has 2 over me in Siam. Boy, now I really am pinned back there. But I would much rather have my weight in North America than to worry about Australia at this point. I mean, I'm glad that white bot didn't come all the way through and hit me in Indonesia. I had just enough coverage in Indonesia to stave off a break-in by white bot in Australia. Now, if I'm in Arco spot, I would just try to take over Madagascar. Why not try to take over a continent? Let's see what he does here. I mean, he has options. He could take over South America. He could take over Africa. Ooh, looks like he's taken over South America. He used this force from eastern United States to come down. That was quite an expensive takeover, though. He lost a lot of troops along the way, which is good for me. I have just enough firepower to strike into South America. Thank God, by the skin of my teeth, right? So I take over my bonus territory there in Northwest Territory. I'm trying to position myself to blaze southward down through North America and into South America. So I have 3 cards. Have a match. Awesome, with Northwest Territory as a bonus territory. So we'll see how this plays out, but Arco will not have a match yet, only has 2 cards. I hold on to Australia. Thank God. White bot decided to go elsewhere with that force in Siam. And white bot really was hungry for Asia. Look at that. Successfully took it over. Let's see if it holds on. I don't think charcoal's gonna go in Asia. Nope, doesn't. Arco has a decent stash in Venezuela. Starts his troop off with 4. And easily takes over South America. Even strikes me up into Western Europe. And boy, I may just have enough power to take him out here with turning in a match. Of course, I'm going to select Northwest Territory as my bonus to give me as much leverage as I can possibly obtain. And yeah, I just may have just enough, I think. If I don't lose too many troops along the way. Great strike into Venezuela. Now I feel very confident I can take Arco out. That was kind of like the critical point in the pursuit. So, good game, Arco. Now, if I was just a little bit smarter, I would have not have struck Arco in Western Europe and allowed the black bot to do that, just to be a little more efficient with my troops. But either way, I was able to take him out of the game there. And really the lesson there was, I mean, that was really Arco's game to lose there. I think the critical point in the game was him attacking in a black bot to go into South America. He spent a lot of troops to do so. And thank God I turned in a match right afterwards and was able to come through from Australia and go into Greenland to meet him there in the Western Hemisphere. But yeah, I think Arco could have been better served if he would have just planted in Egypt rather than go through and attack the bot to get into South America. I think over time he would have been able to outweigh me and then eventually strike into my Siam. But that's why we look at these games in reverse, see what we could have done better, and improve going forward. Thank you for tuning in, and always remember that life actually is the roll of the dice. Like and subscribe if you enjoy this content, and you'll want to be sure to check out my playlist to learn more tips and strategies to conquer your world on the board and beyond.